Hello and welcome back to another Your Honor Wrestling and to another edition of AEW Collision out of 10. But it's not just AEW Collision out of 10, it's also AEW Battle of the Belts out of 10. So we've got 3 hours of wrestling on Saturday instead of the usual 2. And 3 titles are on the line with Storm, Luchasaurus and FTR defending their titles. We also saw the final of the Owen Hart tournament on Rampage after Collision. So let's get straight into it. We start things off with the tag titles on the line, FTR versus Bullet Club Gold. It was a 2 out of 3 falls match, and they really took their time getting into this match. Both teams towards each other and engaged in some mind games before there was any real physicality. About 10 minutes into the show, once they got going, the aggression kicked into high gear. There's a long match. They paced themselves by mixing quick sequences with rest holds and double team moves. Switchblade then hit the first fall for his team, hitting Wheeler with his finisher and getting their pin. The crowd erupted as the ref counted to 3, so both teams clearly had their support. The middle third of the match was all about BCG controlling the pace, while FTR struggled to make a comeback. The challengers had Wheeler isolated for a long time, but then finally made a hot tag to refresh Harwood. The crowd was on its feet as both teams came close to getting a pin several times before FTR even the score at 1 fall each, hitting Robinson with a shatter machine. We returned from a break to see all 4 men fighting around the ring. The announcer said all hell broken loose during a commercial. Harwood and White even spilled over the barricades into the crowd at one point. Both teams brought their best to the match and made it incredibly hard for everyone in the locker room to follow the performance. AEW gave the first hour of Collision and they used every single minute of it to put on a fantastic match for the fans in Calgary. The ring announcer told us there was only 5 minutes left. Both teams looked worn out and having tried everything in their respective arsenals. Wheeler and Harwood locked both men in sharpshooter at the same time to pop the Canadian fans, but they couldn't keep the hold locked in. Harwood was able to put Juice in the sharpshooter one more time and got the submission win with barely any time left on the clock. This absolutely deserved the first full hour. It was absolutely incredible from start to finish. It gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Jay White showing exactly what he can do, and FTR as well, the best tag team in the world for me, on a level with the Usos. Yeah, it was just absolutely incredible from start to finish, gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Ruby Soho then took on Willow Nightingale in a final of the Women's Owen Hart Cup. Willow established her dominance right away by overpowering Soho multiple times before knocking her down with an easy shoulder tackle. There was a competitive match once Soho found her footing and figured out how to combat Nightingale's power. She was giving up a lot of size but still managed to put up a realistic fight using her style of offense. She then tried to make a shortcut and handed Willow her spray can to make the ref think she was going to cheat. This allowed Soho to poke her in the eye, but it wasn't enough. Willow hit her with her pants and followed up with a huge power on to get the pin and win the tournament. Tony Khan came out to congratulate Willow as she posed with the belt, and this was well done. It could have been hard for anyone to follow the tag match, but they did a really good job of making it feel important. And Willow as well, you kind of feel like this is a major breakthrough moment for her, one that she fully deserves because she's been great recently. 7 out of 10, like I say, great match, had a really tough act to follow it, but did it well. But moving on then to the Kings of the Black Throne versus the 2 jobbers. Black and King represented this match against 2 jobbers, it was basically that they could have won at any time, and once they decided it, they scored an easy win. Andrade came out to taunt Black as the match was ending, and this was longer than standard squash, but not by much. Setting out the angle between Black and Andrade, which I'm very much intrigued by, and I think that's a great angle. Obviously they got history, I think they put on a great match together. But 6 out of 10. CM Punk then took on Ricky Starks in the final of the men's Owen Hart Cup tournament, and the bell rang immediately as they locked up, so they started trading wrist locks and counters. The crowd chanted for both men, and everyone around the ringside area was on their feet as they continued to trade takedowns and counters. Punk and Starks kept things simple during the first few minutes and focused on chain wrestling, but the crowd calmed down a bit. Every time Starks got the better, and the Second City Saviour grew more upset, and they slowly ramped up physicality throughout as each of the 3 segments were given. Punk played into the booze as he kept taunting the crowd. Starks drilled him with a spear and sent him out of the ring. He tried for a second spear, but Punk grabbed him in a guillotine. Starks barely reached the ropes with his foot to force break. They ended up trading pinning combos until Starks was able to get the pin with little help from a ring rope. This was a good way to finish the match because it's going to give Punk ammunition to complain while giving the Starks the biggest win of his career. Potentially all leading up to a heel turn for Punk, who knows. But for Starks, a major win for him, kind of a breakout moment, not only winning the cup but beating CM Punk on his return. So it was incredible, do wonders for Stark, and potentially a new angle for Punk as well, and just a brilliant match. So like I say, 8 out of 10 from me. Then on to the Battle of the Belts portion of this show, and we start things off with Cassidy v Archer for the international title. Predictably, Archer destroyed Cassidy until he was able to make a comeback using his unique style of offense. They fought at ringside and got even a few security guards involved in the action. Archer is used to having much shorter match in AEW, but established a good reputation as a worker in New Japan and other places, so it's no surprise he and OC are able to keep this match interesting as long as they did. Surprisingly, the match ended in count-out win for Cassidy as he barely beat the clock back into the ring, and he and Archer brawled on the apron. Countdown wins are early entertaining entertaining, but something about Cassidy's character makes it work. This kind of protects Archer too, so it works for everyone. And yeah, fun match to kick off the show. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, kind of built to on Rampage. It's a fun match, classic Cassidy title defense. But yeah, 7 out of 10. Tony Storm then took on Ty Valkyrie for the women's promo, and after a short promo from the Acclaimed about accepting KTV's challenge and waiting to put pursue the Trios title again, we then got this match. Storm rushed Valkyrie as soon as the bell rang and started beating on her in the corner. The challenger fired back and cornered her for a stiff chop, and Soho went out of the ring to regroup with Storm. Taya then hit the upper hand as the feed suddenly cut out, and after a break we returned to see a short clip of Julia Hart's match from Rampage. And when the show came back, Ian Riccaboni made a joke about whether the weather was affecting the feed during a Storm match. It feels unfair to grade the match, we didn't get to fully experience it. This is unfortunate, it can happen sometimes with the live TV. Honestly, it's surprising it doesn't happen more. Humans done, we all make mistakes. They never really confirmed who won, but since AEW does not like to change, we can only assume Storm won. But yeah, I don't know, it gets 6 out of 10 for me. It's a shame it's happened, but up until that point it wasn't bad. And you know, look at the competitors in the ring, we know it's great. So yeah, 6 out of 10 for me. In our main event, the TNT title was on the line as Luchasaurus took on Shawn Spears, and as usual, Christian Cage was there holding on to the belt like it was his own. The match was less than 10 minutes left in the broadcast. We know it wasn't going to be a marathon, it's much more of a sprint. Spears made a comeback during the break as Cage paced away down the ringside, but it was stomped when Luchasaurus checked him through a timekeeper's area. Despite almost winning in some help from a chair, Spears ultimately came up short against the Living Dinosaur, and Luchasaurus hit a clothesline to the back of Spears' head for the win. And yeah, it gets 6 out of 10 for me. Pretty simple win for Luchasaurus, really. And yeah, I don't know, kind of building up momentum for his title reign, which I don't know. For me, I haven't felt much of it too much really, but you know, still kind of intrigued to see where it goes, and I hope he gets a decent run with it. But overall this week, Collision gets 7 out of 10 from me. Yeah, I thought Collision was brilliant. The Owen Hart Cup matches were absolutely outstanding, and of course that tag team match. Yeah, I don't know, Battle of the Belts kind of just felt a bit pointless to me. So that kind of brings the overall grade of the 3 hours of wrestling down. Collision 8 out of 10, Battle of the Belts maybe 6, 7 out of 10. So yeah, in the middle I'll go 7 out of 10. But anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, comment down with the video. You wrestling, subscribe to the channel, it's going to be greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.